you can tell I'm at a loss for words, really. I'm not used to this kind of break coming my way, and I have enormous respect for Susan Bysiewicz. As I mentioned in my speech, she's a great campaigner, and she's I was always very clear that I never questioned her legal qualifications. I never questioned her legal eligibility, but the court decided what it decided.
Moving forward now, in terms of continuing Dick Blumenthal's work, what would you like to see done next if you are elected here?
Well, I succeeded Dick Blumenthal in the Connecticut State Senate, and he was a great senator, and I brought my own style and my own set of priorities, and I'll do that as Attorney General. I think he's been a fantastic Attorney General. I share his values. I share his activist outlook on the job. You're there to affirmatively protect the public interest and to protect individuals against when they're preyed upon. But what does change is the times that you're working in, and the number one priority in Connecticut now is jobs, and anything we do needs to be examined through a prism of how it's going to have an impact on job creation. I think that means that focusing on utility costs is going to be a high priority of mine. I also believe that what sells Connecticut is a place to work and to grow a business is a quality of life here, and so I'm going to be working to preserve open space and our natural and our historical heritage so that Connecticut remains a beautiful place to live.
Does that mean you're going to be farming out a lot of work to outside law firms like Dick Blumenthal?
I'll be taking a look at the practices when I go into office. I'll be taking a look at the practices when I go into the office and make decisions at that time.
Yeah, sorry. Try to raise the bait here.
Again, I know earlier you talked about kind of being similar to Dick Blumenthal. Do you see yourself being like a similar Attorney General?
Yeah, I'm going to be in Dick's activist mode. I share his values and I share his activist outlook on the job. You really need an Attorney General who's going to be aggressive in protecting individual consumers, but also protecting the broader public interest. But as I mentioned in my speech, it's also an office, because of its enormous power, you have to exercise your discretion very carefully and make sure you have your facts straight before you jump in and take a side on an issue.
Probably last week you fully came into the convention thinking you're going to have a primary coming out of the convention, but you won't have that.
I was expecting a dogfight at the convention, and I was expecting a primary afterwards, and so my universe has changed quite a bit in the last 4 days.
You're going to give your staff a raise then with the money you're saving not having a primary?
That's my campaign manager's job.
Not having a primary, of course, allows you better focus just on,
not having a primary is huge because it means that when I qualify for public money, I will be able to focus on November. I will be able to spend all of the summer not bogged down in trench wars among Democrats, but appealing more broadly to the general electorate.
I think Jerry Garcia is rolling over in his grave now that you quoted him. Musician, national.
I'm sure he would take it as a compliment.
Thank you.
He had a good sense of humor.
So do you.
Okay. Hey, Mark.
How you doing?
Sorry.
Where are you on the money?
We're still about 30,000 short. I've got fundraisers planned, and I'm comfortable. No doubt that I'm going to raise the money. It's just a question of when. I'd like to do it before July 4th.
You're hoping to raise for AG, so what becomes easier? If Garber, I guess the Rowland impeachment will come into play either way. You got Garber or O'Neill. It seems to be how it's going.
Events have moved so rapidly for me. To be honest, I really haven't focused on, because I was absolutely certain that I would be in a primary with Susan Bysiewicz. I haven't really given much of a thought at all to how we're going to be structuring the fall race. My preference and expectation would be whether it's Art O'Neill or Ross or Martha Dean. And I'm going to continue what I've been doing, which is to present a positive narrative about myself and what I bring to the table, and not focus on them. I want to introduce myself to the people of Connecticut, and I want to do that in a very proud Connecticut, and I want to do that in a very